Hello students, welcome back to our session. My name is Siva. Today I am going to explain about the how a program works. According to Usmania University given syllabus, this content is also we need to know about this. We need to know. So now before I am sharing my window, first I am minimizing my camera. Otherwise, whatever I am sharing, that is you are not visible. So that's why I am sharing this one. I'm minimizing my camera window. Right. Now, this is the Word document, our material. So, how a program works? A program is nothing but a set of instructions actually. If you write any program in C language or Java or any other programming languages, all are each in that whatever the statement you have written in that file, that each and every line has a call it statement. So all statements call it as a set of statements. But coming to CPU, nothing but a central processing unit. Coming to CPU, central processing unit, treating as a each and every line as an instruction. So if you save a bulk of instructions in that file is called a set of instructions. A set of instructions executing by the CPU. Executing by the CPU. So first we have to know about the CPU concept. CPU means Central Processing Unit. Central Processing Unit. It is a part of computer that executes our instructions in the form of machine code. All of you please observe this line. CPU means CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. Central Processing Unit. It is a part of our computer. Each and every computer contains CPU. Nothing but CPU means what is that? Central Processing Unit. Nothing but a processor. Processor. Processor is executing our instructions. So without actually CPU is a brain of our computers nowadays. It is treating as a brain of our computers. Human beings contain one brain, that brain operating our each and every operation. So like that CPUs, I mean processor is a brain of our computers. Laptop is also contain one processor. I mean desktop is also contain one processor. Each and every machine, even phones also contain processors. Without processor, we can't execute our instructions. I mean whatever the input we have passed, that inputs it will execute by the CPU only. So CPU is the brain of any electronic device. Compulsory one chip must and should be required to execute our instructions. That chip is called CPU, Central Processing Unit. In the electronic way, that is processor. CPU is executing our instructions in the form of binary code. Actually, each and every mission, I mean, the computer executes only binary language code. That binary language contains what are the code? Zeros and ones only. Zeros and ones. CPU means Central Processing Unit. Is a part of computer that executes our instructions in the form of machine code. Machine code is nothing but binary language, binary code. So machine code is a low level language comprised by binary digits, zeros and ones. Comprised by zeros and ones. Computer can only understand zeros and ones. That is called machine code. That is called machine code. Actually, how many languages we have? Higher level languages, lower level languages, all those things we have now. Already we have learned in the C language. So computer can understand only low level languages. For our understanding purpose, higher level language introduced. But higher level languages which are contained, I mean C language, Java, C++, Python, all those things higher level languages. This software contains interpreter, internally interpreter contains. That interpreter converts high level language to machine level language to high level language. So machine level language required for the computer, high level language is required for the human beings, nothing but a programmers. CPU does not execute instructions directly. CPU does not execute instructions directly by itself. Actually, it is an electronic device. If you pass any instruction for that, then it will execute. Then it will understand. Then after that it will execute. But directly, it will not take any decisions by itself. So that we must need to give the instructions for the CPU in the form of a program. In the form of a program, if you want to give any instructions for the CPU, compulsory we need to write one program. That program can convert into a binary code. After that, the binary code read by the CPU and it will execute that instructions directly. Until we pass an instructions, CPU does not take any responsibility to execute by itself. So compulsory programmer need to give any instructions for that required operation. Programs are usually stored on a secondary storage device. How many types of memories we have? There are two types of memories. First one is primary memory, nothing but a main memory. And second one is secondary memory, nothing but hard disk. Primary memory means RAM memory. Nothing but a temporary memory. Permanent memory means, secondary memory means it is a permanent memory, that is hard disk. All of you carefully observe in this line what I am telling here. Here my intention is I want to explain how to execute the program. That process we need to know first. For example, suppose we have a word processing program on our computer disk. Word processing means nothing but a Word document. It contains our details. That Word document contains our details. All of you here consider one thing. If our details contain the Word document, that is called our resume now. So if you save our resume into a hard disk, first you need to open, after that you need to type your resume details, your personal details, all those things, whatever the qualifications you have, all those things you type. After that you need to store in the hard disk now. C drive or D drive, E drive, any drive, you have to choose that one. So that file, if you want to open and read, execute that file, compulsory you need to use mouse now for double click on that file. If you want to open that file, compulsory mouse, by using mouse you need to open. Am I correct or not? Right. While when you click on that resume, immediately that will transfer, that will copy it from hard disk to main memory. Here hard disk is secondary memory. If you store anything permanently, that is called hard disk. That memory is called hard disk. But if you want to open and read that file or any modifications if you want to do, then immediately the mouse you need to take a help for the by mouse now. If you click on that, immediately that file is transferred to main memory. So then the computer CPU will take that Word program and execute it a set of instructions. If the resume contain 30 lines or 40 lines, maybe, just assume. When you open that file, immediately that file copied into main memory to RAM memory. So that RAM memory can read, and after that it will process to it will transfer to the CPU. Then the computer's CPU will take the Word program and execute it a set of instructions. మీరు సేవ్ చేసిన ఫైల్ ఫస్ట్ హార్డ్ డిస్క్ డ్రైవ్లో సేవ్ అవుతుందమ్మా. హార్డ్ డిస్క్లో సేవ్ అవుతుంది. హార్డ్ డిస్క్లో సేవ్ అయిన తర్వాత మీ తర్వాత ఏమైనా మోడిఫికేషన్స్ కానీ ఏమైనా రీడ్ చేయాలన్నా కానీ, దెన్ కంపల్సరీ యూ నీడ్ టు యూస్ మౌస్ నా. You double click on that file, immediately that file copied into RAM memory. After that, RAM memory read line by line, that each and every line will transfer to the CPU. CPU can read and execute that instruction line by line. That cycle is every time it is processing for each and every line. For example, if your Word document contains 30 or 40 lines, each and every line this cycle will do. Each and every line this process will do again and again for 40 times. For example, 40 lines you have in the resume, that 40 times the process will do by itself. That is the process of cycle. Not only Word document. For example, if you want to if you want to write a program in C language by using developer C++ window, first you need to save with the valid name and .c extension. Where you have to save? That is in hard disk. That is in hard disk. That is called source code. The source code, that is called source code. After that you need to compile. After that you need to compile. When you press the F9 keyword, automatically it will compile and it will generate the .exe file. After that, if you want to execute the .exe file, when you press on F10 function key from the keyboard, then immediately that file transfer to hard disk to main memory. After that, line by line it will convert and execute by the CPU. And RAM is also transferred to CPU. That program, line by line, it will execute. That is the functionality of CPU. A program is copied into main memory and then executed. So, if you write any program, if you use any Word document, C language, whatever, C program, Java program, PHP program, web programming, everything, and photos also. That is also contains binary code. If you want to open that file, compulsory that file transferred to the main memory, hard disk to main memory by the CPU. After that, from that RAM memory, it will read by the CPU again. That RAM, that reading transactions, whatever the content RAM contains, that complete data will again transfer to the CPU. That CPU will execute line by line. Then only we will get the output in the form of output form. CPU can read only zeros and ones. Here all of you please carefully observe. For example, the resume stored in the hard disk. When you double click on that, immediately that file is transferred to RAM memory. That RAM memory again it will convert into a 10100001 like that binary format it is converting. After that, the first line conversion is over, then the first line will transfer to the CPU. CPU will execute that line. After that, again second line it will pick from the main memory. Second line is also converting by the RAM, and after that it will transfer to the CPU. Like that 40 lines you have. If you have 40 lines in the resume, that 40 lines each and every line will transfer to the CPU. 40 times it will execute by the CPU. That is the functionality of CPU. Central Processing Unit. Nothing but a processor. When a CPU executes the instructions in a program, it is engaged with a process. When this process is assigned by the CPU, immediately one cycle will execute. One cycle will assign it to that process. What is that cycle name? Fetch, decode, execute cycle. Fetch, decode, execute cycle. This cycle contains 3 steps. What are they? First one is fetch, and second one is decode, and third one is execute. Third one is execute. All of you please carefully observe here. Fetch means in this step, fetch or read the next instruction from the memory into CPU. The next instruction from the memory into CPU. If you double click on that Word document, whatever the resume you have, that resume is stored in the hard disk. If you double click on that, immediately the complete document data as a set of instructions. For example, 40 lines you have. The 40 lines instructions is called set of instructions. The set of instruction will transfer to the main memory, nothing but a RAM memory. That is fetching. If you double click on that, it is fetching from the hard disk to RAM memory. That is called fetching, nothing but retrieving. Collecting the data from hard disk. Fetching means collecting the data from hard disk. After that, decode. In this step, the CPU decodes the instruction that was just fetched from memory to determine which operation it should be performed. Decode means after fetching that complete data, it is decoding. Nothing but decoding means actually you are writing the text in the form of higher level languages by using higher level language. Word document is also internally using higher level languages. After fetching the data, RAM memory it is converting, nothing but decoding. 1001 binary format it is converting. After that, it is identifying which operation I have to do. I mean, what is the task that have RAM memory is thinking here. After that, it will transfer to the CPU. That is last phase, execute phase. The last step in the cycle is to execute or perform the operation. After decoding, will transfer to the CPU. CPU will execute each and every instruction. How many lines we have, that number of times it will execute by the CPU. Now, understand now what is the process of our files execution process? Any one file, not a programming language file, Word document, photos, videos, all those things, treating as a data by the CPU. So, if you want to see, if you want to watch a movie, compulsory that video file you need to click on the video file now. That file immediately transferred to the hard disk to main memory, hard disk to RAM memory. After that, RAM memory is decoding. That decoding data will transfer to the CPU again, and CPU will execute. Then that movie it is playing on the screen. Then only we have to watch that. Next, from machine language to assembly language. From machine language to assembly language. Machine language is a low-level programming language. Already I have told you. I mean, in the C language also you learned about this. Machine language is nothing but binary language. So each and every computer or each and every electronic device, first that should understand only zeros and ones. Nothing but a binary language it should understand. Remaining language that the devices don't know. Remaining languages, higher level languages, all those things. For our understanding purpose, we have to learn. Because of machine level language is very critical to understand and critical to learn and also critical to modifying purpose also. So it is a lengthy process. We can't easily learn. For that, machine level language is only for machine's purpose, not only ours, not only programmers purpose. Our purpose, what we have, higher level languages. Higher level languages. By using higher level language, we can write our programs. After that, it will convert into a machine language for the computer purpose. Then only computer can understand, it will execute again. So machine language is a low level programming language. Machine level language can only be represented by zeros and ones. I already told you, machine can understand only zeros and ones. In the earlier, when we have to create a picture or show data on the screen of the computer, in earlier, when we have to create a picture, if you want to create a picture in past days or show data on the screen of the computer, then it is very difficult to draw using only binary digits. Because of in the earlier time, in the past days, higher level language is not there. No? So then in that time, if you want to draw any diagrams, if you want to show any pictures, that is impossible thing. Possible thing, but it is very critical. There are less programmers. In that time, there were less programmers. And by using this machine language is also very critical. So that's why higher level language introduced. For example, to write 120, if you want to write 120 number in the system, in the computer, compulsory in the form of representation way, we have to write. All of you observe here, 1111 00 0. This is binary format of 120. If you want to write 120 number in the computer, compulsory this number we have to use. So here you haven't understand anything now. Just you can understand it is a binary language. Am I correct or not? Here what we have to understand, this is binary language. But what purpose we have to use, we don't know. For 120 number, if you want to write 120 number, compulsory this code we have to use in that. So instead of using 120 compulsory, we need to learn machine language to write 120 number. So it is impossible. So it is very difficult to learn. To overcome this program, the assembly language is invented. Actually, the first programming language is machine language. After that, assembly language introduced. After that, higher level languages introduced. Now, machine level language is over now. Machine level language is only for computers. only for computer understanding purpose. But if you want to learn machine level language, it is very critical. Even if you learn, if you want to modify or if you want to error correction, if you want to do any error correction in that machine language, it is impossible because of that is very critical programming language. So that's why to overcome, to avoid these, to avoid all these problems, they introduced assembly language. They introduced assembly language. All of you please carefully observe here. First machine language, after that assembly language, and next one finally higher level language introduced. Already machine level language is over. Now we have to discuss about the assembly language. Assembly level language is the more than low level and less than higher level, nothing but intermediary language. First machine level language. Now I am explaining with diagrammatic way. All of you please carefully observe here. This is machine level language. This is machine level language. Next, they introduced assembly level language, and after that higher level languages. So in the machine level language, only for computer understanding. Machine level language is only for computer understanding purpose. But if you want to do any programming language in the machine level, it is very critical. It is very critical to learn. So that's why it is feeling very burden to learn. So that's why assembly level language introduced it. So to avoid machine level language problems, assembly level language introduced it. Now here observe here. It is an intermediary language now. So between machine level language, higher level language, in between assembly language introduced. First one machine level language, after that assembly level language, after that higher level languages. So this is assembly level language is called intermediary language right now. Assembly languages use numbers, symbols and abbreviations instead of zeros and ones. So if you want to do any program on machine level language, compulsory zeros and ones we have to use to do any programming language, to do programming. If you want to develop any program, compulsory zeros and ones we have to use in the machine level language. But here some codes already they have introduced it. For addition, if you want to do any addition operation, add we have to use. Here some commands used. Like if you want to do any addition operation, add method we have to use. Subtraction, subcommand we have to use. Multiplication purpose, MUL command. Next, division, purpose, div command we have to use. Like, so it is better than to assembly level language is better than to machine level language now. So by using zeros and ones, we are unable to understand anything here. If you want to do any program, compulsory zeros and ones we have to use in the machine level language. So if you want to pass any instruction, compulsory zeros and ones we have to use. It is very burden. So to avoid all those things, for the machine level language, assembly language introduced. In the assembly language, here some mnemonic codes they introduced. For addition operation, add, subtraction, multiplication, division. So short form of these three letters they have introduced. So actually what are the operations we have to do in the system? Are arithmetic mathematical operations or string operations? Am I correct or not? String operation, either two strings were add or either two strings subtract or any mathematical operations, nothing but arithmetical operations, plus operator, addition operation, subtraction, multiplication, division, any mathematical operations we have to do. So by using these symbols we have to use we have to develop programs. So better than assembly level language is better than to machine level language now. So all of you please observe here. Assembly level language program, move EAX Z, add EAX 2, move Y EAX, move Y EAX. Move means copying and so forth. So each and every one is called as an instruction. So after writing this entire code, move means copying, add means addition, again move Y the result. Y is the variable, move Y result to EAX. EAX is the command. So all of now this is you please concentrate on the program only, not the commands. Just nowadays assembly level languages are not using here. So before learning higher level languages, compulsory we have to know about the machine level language problems. At the same time, assembly level language problems also we have to know. After that, higher level languages is very easy to understand. So this program is also we can understand right now. So compared to machine level language, here we can understand these codes, these words we can understand. So that is the drawback of machine level language. Now that is the advantages of assembly level language. So assembly language internally uses assembler. Assembler means it is converting machine level language to assembly level language. If you write this program in the assembly level language, assembler operation is what? Immediately this code is converted into binary level language, then only this file transferred to the CPU, then CPU will execute. So assembler is the one tool, one software by used in assembly level language, used in assembly level language. Here you just confused, all of you please carefully observe. All of you please carefully observe. In the machine level language, directly we can interact with the CPU. Because of zeros and ones we have to write our programs. But what is the problem here? By writing zeros and ones, it is a burden because of we are unable to understand zeros and ones for each and every word. Am I correct or not? Okay. So to avoid this burden, assembly language introduced. Assembly language has the mnemonic codes. And after that, assembly language contain assembler software also. Assembly language contain assembler software also. What is the assembler functionality here? If you write any program by using these commands, by using addition, subtraction, multiplication, division commands, after that this entire file is going to be assembler to converting purpose. Here commands these commands compulsory need to convert binary language then only binary language understand by the CPU, otherwise machine does not understand these codes. So that's why assembler used. Assembler functionality is to converting mnemonic codes to binary level language. That is the functionality of assembler language. Assembler functionality. Now higher level languages. Assembly language also requires that you write a large number of instructions for even a simple program. Assembly language also requires that you write a large number of instructions for even a simple program. Here higher level language we have to learn. Higher level we are discussing now higher level languages. Assembly language drawbacks are what? If you execute any small code also, if you execute any small instruction also, compulsory we need to write a lot of code for that. We need to write a lot of code. So that's why that is also a problem now. For simple instruction, 100 lines of code writing is burden. That is also burden. So to avoid that type of burden, higher level languages introduced. In the 1950s, a new generation of programming languages known as higher level languages. In the 1950s, they introduced Fortran, COBOL, Pascal, C, C++, Java, and Python also. Since 1950 onwards, these many languages and extra languages also introduced, but these are the popular languages: Fortran, COBOL, Pascal, C, C++, Java, and Python is also. Each higher level language has its own set of predefined keywords. If you want to write a program in C language, compulsory some keywords must and should be used. What are the actual keywords are what? All data types are called keywords: int, long, double, short, if condition statements, and while, do while, loops, for loop, all those things keywords. So each and keyword has some specific functionality. So those are called predefined keywords. By using those predefined keywords, we have to write our program as per our project requirement. So higher level languages are internally used predefined keywords. If you want to write any program, compulsory that predefined keywords we need to use in the higher level languages. Higher level languages are nothing but what? C, C++, Java, Python, Pascal, COBOL, Fortran, all these programming languages are called higher level languages. Machine level language is the independent language, and assembly language is also independent language. But higher level language is also different languages we have. They invented different levels, different languages. And compilers and interpreters. If you write any program in any higher level languages, then must be translated into machine language. Machine language is nothing but already you have learned in C language now. If you write any C program, compulsory you need to compile. After written part is over our program, immediately that file need to save. After that you need to compile. After compiling, what you will get? After compiling, actually that source file extension is what? .c is the extension. All of you please carefully observe here. Diagrammatic way I will explain. This is the source code, C language source code. Test.c. This is called source code. After that we need to compile now. Compiler will convert this file. Compiler will convert. And next, what you will get? Test.exe file you will get. Test.exe file. After compilation is over, you will get test.c file. This is executable code. While executing time, C program, source code will not execute. While executing time, the compiler will take this. The compiler will use only this file. Only this file it will take to executing purpose, because of here only source program. After compiling purpose, compiler functionality is what? Converter. Higher level to lower level, nothing but a machine code. Machine code. Nothing but a machine code. All of you please carefully observe here. First, if you want to develop any C program, that one notepad open or a developer C++ window open, in that some statements you have to write. After that you need to save test.c. C is mandatory for C program. So then this file is called source code. Then this file is called source code. After that you need to compile now. So compiler functionality is what? Higher level language to lower level language. Nothing but English words to machine level language. Zeros and ones. Zeros and ones. It is converting. After conversion, text.exe file it will generate. Exe means executable file. Executable file. So while executing time, C program compiler will take this file only, because of this file contains zeros and ones. So that's why this file it will take and execute by the CPU. Now understand now, that is the process of C language functionality. All of you please observe here. If you write any program in any high level languages, then must be translated into machine level language. Here, because of C language, by using C language, here we are converting now. Here we are converting zeros and ones format, like that machine format. After that it will generate the .exe file. For that, programmers must have to use the compilers and interpreters. Compilers and interpreters. If you want to convert any program, higher level language to machine level language, compulsory compilers and interpreters must and shouldly we need to use. A compiler is a program that translates a high level language program to machine level language. High level language to machine level language. So this is the process of program execution. Print hello world. This is higher level language program. Nothing but if you want to use C program or Python or Java, all those things, call it to higher level languages. Because of internally we are using keywords to develop your programs. Internally we are using keywords to develop your programs. That is called higher level languages. So after that we need to compile. Compiler functionality is what? Higher level language to machine readable language. Nothing but machine language. It is converted by the compiler. After that, that file will transfer to the CPU. CPU will execute itself line by line, line by line. Then only CPU can understand. CPU can understand only zeros and ones, not human readable language. For our understanding purpose, for our easy understanding purpose, higher level languages we are using. Programmers using. But for the computer purpose, compulsory machine level language must and shouldly we need to use. So that's why to converting purpose, for our understanding purpose higher level languages, for system understanding purpose machine level languages. In between, compiler is the mediatory part to convert our language to machine level language to our language. So that is the functionality of compilers and interpreters. Next, Python. Python is also a higher level language. It uses an interpreter to translate and execute our program to higher level language to machine level language. This process repeats by every instruction in the program. Every instruction means here instructions are what? If our program contains 10 lines, each and every line is called as an instruction. If the file contains 100 lines, it is called 100 lines of code, 100 lines of instruction, and also called set of instructions. Because of we have bulk instructions now. So that's why these are called set of instructions. Now all of you understand how your program is working internally. So before we need to learn Python programming language, compulsory we have to understand what is the internal process is going on by the CPU, how it is working, all those things we have to learn. And next we will discuss about the using of Python. How to use the Python, how to download from the internet a Python software. After that, how to install that software we have to discuss. And after that, each and every line in the syllabus we can practically I can practically show. So okay, I hope you understand everything right now, each and every point. Today's session is enjoyed, maybe. Thank you very much. And in the next session, we will discuss about the how to download Python software from the internet. That I will show practically. So all of you get ready for that session. Don't miss. Then only you have to understand how to install that software. I mean, how to download from the internet, how to install that software, how to use that software. Then only you have to understand. Otherwise, you can't understand. So where we have to develop our programs, that again, that problems you will rise. So to avoid all those things, compulsory next session you please attempt. Thank you very much.